And now the biggest thing that he says when you're going to put an engine is don't drop it and watch your phalanges, because there is a chance that you're going to get your phalanges caught. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. We're here for part 3 of the Indy 9R build. So last video, with help from Rick, who is also in the background there still, we took the 850 out of this XER. So if you're just joining us, we have a 2023 XER 136 1.6 track. It was an 850, it was electric start. We are pulling all that out and we are putting a 9R in it. So over here on the bench, we have Rick just finishing up a couple little things. So this is our 850 that we just took out. And the easiest way to tell the difference is the blue heads. So these have silver heads, that has blue heads. 9R is blue heads. So this is exactly how we got it from Polaris. We ordered everything that you can get for these. So that is obviously your long block. It's a different wide pipe. It's a different head pipe, ECU. And other than that, it should be a plug and play. But right here, just looking at it, we had to do oil feed for the oil pump that we pulled off the one here. And then we have the coolant line that runs through the throttle bodies. That was the only thing. Well, actually, there was this hose connection there we stole off this one. But other than that, everything else was already there. So those are the only things that we had to switch over. Now, I mean, really, it should just drop in. The motor mounts are all the same. It came with all the motor mounts. Not even like we had to pull it off of the 850 and put it on the 9R. They were already there. So according to Rick, who's the mastermind behind this all, we should just be dropping it in. And now the biggest thing that he says when you're going to put an engine is don't drop it and watch your phalanges, because there is a chance that you're going to get your phalanges caught. So this is just the first step in putting it all back together, but we have an empty chassis and we have a motor that is ready to go in there. So Rick is going to do the honors and I'm going to hold the camera.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing, I did throw another zip tie on the oil pump. This is kind of just dangling here. And I threw one up here where I'll be able to easily cut it once I get the engine dropped in the chassis, and then
just to hold it up out of the way.
Just to hold it up out of the way so I don't get it caught trying to swing it into the chassis and either damage it or rip a line off or do something silly like that.
Yep. So
I guess it's go time.
Just as that one came out, this one is going to go in. Oh, and we did take the Y pipe off because it is 10 times easier. Rick said it is possible to do it with the Y pipe on. He said it is way easier to do it with the Y pipe off. So we opted to go the easier route and we took the Y pipe off. So pretty much here, and I mean it's pretty dummy proof. There's locating pins on the chassis for your motor mounts, and really once you get it to a point, it's just gonna. There's that oil pump.
It's down in there. It's gonna cut my. It's actually cocked, but we'll cut this now that we're in there.
So yes, as you guys can see, Rick has done a ton of these. I would be much more gentle with it, but
so now we gotta make a little room.
Right, because now he's got to get it set into that holder down there. Which?
Yep.
Again, guys, we took electric start. This was an electric start model. We took it off, so there's no motor or anything in the way. It does make it a lot easier to do a motor swap, but it is possible to do it with electric start. Rick does them all the time. Rick actually does rebuilds here. He does engine replacements. He does tunnel replacements. He actually just took a tunnel out that was sitting on what is now my workbench when I first got here. But does it all. And he volunteered to come over here and give me a hand with this. And I'm happy because it's, I mean, I'm learning again. I've never done one of these, not in this chassis, so it's pretty interesting. So he's fighting with this oil pump to get it into place, which, there it is. Just as I say that, it pops right in.
That's all you needed to do was scare it.
Yeah. You see the centering pin or the locating pins there?
Just checking a couple of things quick. Those two just dropped in.
Yep, just fell in. So now we're gonna go through and pretty much do everything we did in the last video in reverse, right?
Yeah.
So go back and watch the other one. No, I'm just kidding. So for starter, I mean, obviously we're gonna do bolts. What do we have? Bolts first?
Yeah, so we're going to be dealing with these two bolts, the other mag side motor mount bolt, and then we got the two
Yep, two from underneath. Yep.
To deal with.
And then this one up here. And then after that,
we're gonna
airbox.
Now we got a few things to do before the airbox, but
All
it's coming quickly.
All right, so I'll do these couple things and we'll get back to it. All right, Rick's been thrashing over here, so he's going to kind of tell you guys in quick order of how it was all done and put in there. So he put a little bit of Loctite on all the bolts, right?
Well, 3, 4, 5 motor mount bolts have received blue Loctite. We've got, we put the upper coolant hose back on, temporarily rerouted our wiring here, have the fuel lines reconnected. We got the throttle cable hooked up and operational here.
And re-zip tied there, because that's zip tied right to the throttle cable. So there's that. It's all the little stuff that, I mean, again, that he knows like the back of his hand, because he's done a ton of these, that if you guys were to tackle this, it's kind of a little bit tougher.
Yeah, and definitely, I guess my only big tip would be anybody who wants to, take on something like this, don't be scared to take pictures of what it looked like. As you're taking it apart, take pictures so you can get the wiring back where it belongs.
Mm-hmm. So now we're back with the infamous airbox. So
yes, so pull that in.
Oh, a little oil jobby.
Just a little bit.
You could just go to the single pipe that came off it and just
I could
just dump out the quart that was already in there.
It probably would save a couple bucks if we went that route. Other big thing before we lay that in there.
Yeah, don't forget them.
It'd be awful sad if we don't have those laying there.
And this obviously goes by feel, but he's got a way of getting it in there.
And if you like, you can do the honors thing.
No, I'm good.
You get all right. All right, man. Don't say I never offered you nothing.
No.
So. That took long.
I mean, it just this is 10 pounds of poo in a 5-pound bag.
We lost that.
Lost it again?
Yeah. We'll have to get them.
All right, so you guys get the point. You got to fight it. Airbox, check. Y pipe, check. Bottom coolant line over here, check. What's next on the to-do list, Rick?
We're going to throw in the exhaust valves.
Nope. So you guys didn't see how they came out of the 850 motor, so I only had so many hands. So you got to pull the cable to get clearance.
Spin the bars for me.
And then you spin the bars.
Actually, go the other way. Yep.
And voila. And then Rick will just have to relearn them once they get it fired, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So once we get them in, we started doing wiring, so we could probably put coils back on. We could do the, why am I drawing a blank on this?
We do coils, PBR,
PBR.
and then we'll want to manually reprime our oil feed.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about a little earlier. We're gonna pour some oil down there so there's not a big bubble gap, and just keep coming together, guys. It's exciting, and we might be able to get it on snow. Pretty important part of this process is new ECU. So this is programmed for a 9R right from Polaris. So you take the old one off and you put the new one on. So oil reservoir is coming back together. He's just putting that ECU on that, and then that top part of the intake will go on. And then what's our steps after that, Rick?
Then after that, we're gonna put the rest of the intake back together.
So yeah, well, you have the top piece, and then you have the one that goes here that wraps around. So that goes on.
And then realistically from there, we'll probably have you do your gearing changes that you're making.
Yeah, which we're doing a gearing change, which we'll talk about in a later video. The last one, once we get it running, Bruce and I will go over everything that we did between suspension and clutching and gearing and everything like that, and let you guys know exactly what we have. So okay, coming together, we have a 9R pipe. We actually have Bruce's back. Bruce, where you been, buddy?
Oh, doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the ticket. Race one.
yeah, so come across, everything's been plug and play so far, and then we ran into one little snag, but per usual, Bruce figured it out. But yeah, so 9R pipe is different than an 850. I'm not sure of the exact specs, but I know the stinger in the back is a little bit different, which is the snafu that we just ran into. But Rick has got everything tidied up here. I was doing the gear change. He finished everything up. So pretty much we're ready for clutches, which Bruce is working on now. Pipe is in, springs are on. Everything's wrapped up on the chain case side. Pretty much we got a muffler. Well, we got to put this whole rear cowl back on. And we're almost finishing up. Rick threw some coolant in it just before. What else we got, Rick?
Some oil back in the chain case.
Yeah,
and
that'd be how it would help.
And we've got to get the console back on this, get the recoil rope rerun, and then we got some digital wrench stuff we got to do to get this thing ready to fire.
Right. Which again, we're not firing it in this video. This is just putting everything back together. Next video, you're gonna have to come back for that one. But we're coming together. This 9R project is seriously coming to life very quickly. Starting to look like a sled here, Rick.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
Just doing some finishing touches here. Exhaust, Rick is obviously finishing up. We have clutches on. We have console on. We're doing some cosmetic changes as we go through this too. So I'll show you guys, but these came with black slashes and we're doing teal. We changed the trim to white. So I got to do the wind deflection white. I have to put floodlights on it. And then we're really getting close to being done. And again, you guys don't get to see this fire until next one. So you're gonna have to come back for that. But almost done. Once I get it all back together, I'll show you guys. And then that will be it for this video. And we are successfully put the 9R in the sled and got the sled all back together. Now the real question is, will it fire? No comment from Master Mechanic. And just like that, there she is. So we changed some panels around. We put actually punch lights, not floodlights on it. We put our Rox handguards on as always, which we have the mountain mid windshield, so these clear perfectly if anyone was wondering. And we are getting ready in next stage. You can see the computers kind of firing up here, and we're going to talk about a couple things we had to do in the last video, but Rick is just getting some fuel and we're going to get this thing fired. But again, you're going to have to come back for that video and hear it run for the first time. We truly and utterly have not started this thing yet. We have just getting to the point of doing that. So the only thing left cosmetically is CNA skis and some Woody's wear bars, and we are ready to take this thing on the snow, which we'll see. Oh, and we have to get some new decals made because no one messes with those little big blocks, right, Rick?
That's right.
So that's going to do it, guys. We are very, very close to getting this thing running. And a big shout out to Rick for really jumping on board on this project and helping out. And Brian for turning the music on and off as I go to record every time. So, but that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.